Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. How are you doing today, crafty friends? What's going on in your neck of the woods? Leave me a comment as you're hopping on today. It is a special day today, Tuesday, August 12th. Do you guys know what that is? It's Heather's birthday today. So I kind of doubt she's watching because I think she has some plans today to enjoy some shopping with her mom and dinner with her husband and her daughters. So happy birthday, Heather. I hope it's a wonderful day spent with all the people who love you so much and hope you get to do all of your favorite things. So happy birthday, Heather. And it's also a special day. It is Tuesday, which is release day at Tailored Expressions. Those of you who were looking for that sneak peek video on Saturday, we did not do one this week because we have a little something different. We only have 2 brand new products releasing, but they're releasing into a collection that we have been growing for several years now, our Easy Strips collection, which is a super fun way to use up your scraps and build some really fun backgrounds. I was actually telling Whitney this morning that one of my favorite things to do when I'm feeling less inspired to create a whole card, one of my favorite things to do is to sit down with my Easy Strips and just make backgrounds, to play with color and use up those scraps and make those backgrounds so that when I need a card quickly in the future, I can easily just grab one of those fun backgrounds and pop a sentiment on it and have a really great card to send out. So we're going to talk about Easy Strips today. We have a promotion for you guys, and I'm going to introduce you to a couple of new products that are joining the collection that will, for those of you who love to foil, will enhance your use of Easy Strips because now we have a product that helps you foil them. So, and we get to be crafty together. Plus, we have some curated cardstock packs for you as well. They are not part of our Easy Strips promotion, but I'm going to go through those and show them to you guys. It's our hope to keep adding more of these curated packs to our collections so that we can help you not only with color combinations, but I know we have lots of new fans out there who are just starting to collect our cardstock, and so this gives you an opportunity to grab these curated packs that have fewer sheets of a number of colors so you can kind of test and try and see what you like and come back for the full packs later. So that is our hope, and I'm going to say good morning to a few people. Good morning, Robin in Wisconsin. Amy's here in Hawaii. Hello, Lisa and Sue Bankers joining us this morning. Hi, Rachel. Good morning. Lots of happy birthdays for Heather. April's here. You have most of the Easy Strips already, so you can pay special attention to those new things that are joining. Perry's here, and Linda, Trisha, Karen. Good to see all of you guys today. Can you believe summer is kind of coming to a close? That's the other thing that I'm feeling kind of heavy lately about. I love summer, you know, and it feels like we just get into it where we've got this routine at home and we're just having fun. And now it feels a little bit heavy that that's coming to a close. 2 weeks from yesterday is when school starts here. So we've got a few kids that are excited about it, and one, Henry, who keeps saying no when we when we ask him if he's excited to go back to school. No. So we'll deal with that in a couple of weeks when we have to. So, all right, let's get to looking at our inspiration that I have down in front of me today. We're going to talk through the new products since we didn't do that product reveal video on Saturday, and I'm going to show you what's new along with, like I told you before, a lot of times I just like to build backgrounds. So you can see lots of backgrounds that I've built with our Easy Strips collection. So all of the Easy Strips products in our collection are 20% off. And that is good through next week at this time at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And they are all in a category that you'll find on the homepage. You can click on that banner, or you can go to What's New Easy Strips Sale. And that sale includes the new products as well. So you can grab some of our older dies. We have 3 different sizes of Easy Strips. We have the 1/8, the 1/4, and the 1/2. So small, medium, and large strips that you can use to create these backgrounds. And then in addition to that, we have maps to help you create the patterns like you see here. It's not as easy as you might think to get this perfectly centered map or design down the center. So we have created a map for you that shows you exactly where to stick the pieces down so you end up with this beautifully aligned pattern. So we have 3 different versions of Easy Strips maps that you can get in the sale category as well. And sometimes I will build these patterns and actually cut them out. So in this case, I built the pattern and used a die to cut this frame piece and then put my cute little bear in there. So lots of different ways that you can use these. Another thing that I love to do, you can see if I hold it to the light correctly, you can see how I built that background and then covered it with VersaMark and our diamond embossing powder, which is a clear embossing powder that has glitter in it, and it makes that entire background piece glittery. So some fun you can have with embossing powder as well. Let's take a look at some of our new products that we're introducing today. So one of them, we have a brand new stamp. This is called Playful Patterns for Easy Strips 2, which means there is an original. This is Playful Patterns for Easy Strips, the original version. And this was designed to allow you to stamp these patterns. You can stamp them tone on tone, you can emboss them, and then this line around the outside of the stamp allows you to easily take your coordinating die, and let me pull my die here. You can see what the die looks like. And these are perfectly aligned stamped pieces so that when it's time to die cut these, you simply position the die right inside that outer stamped line. So you want to make sure you're stamping that outside edge. And then when you go to die cut them, all of those strips are going to be die cut apart just perfectly. So this is a new version where you get the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch strips. The 1/4 inch this time have some fun words in them. So you can see there's one that says love, thank you, happy birthday, and then hi, hey, hello, repeating. And I think that'll be really fun to add into the backgrounds of your projects. You can see one here. Susan's actually going to be live on Thursday this week. She's going to be creating cards using this cute little color combo. I actually don't think either of these cards is the one that she's going to be making, but you can see how they use the new playful patterns on them. And she stamped onto the tone on tone onto the same colored cardstock and then cut them apart and created that background using one of our maps. And then over on this side, she used tone on tone again, stamping those 1/2 inch patterns and die cutting them with the 1/2 inch die to add some more interest and dimension to those strips on that card. So super fun. I love this. I really am going to have fun incorporating these word strips, I think, and then also the imagery. We've got hearts, stars, little asterisks, and flowers that you can combine with the words as well. So that's Playful Patterns for Easy Strips. Let's take a look at one more that Sue created. I think this is fun because Sue decided to make a 5x7 card, and I've actually never made a 5x7 card with our Easy Strips. But the great part is that the Easy Strips, let me get them on my ruler here, they measure 7.5 inches long. So each strip is 7.5. That allows you to go all the way across a 5x7 card. And the reason why we did them long is because sometimes you want to be able to do diagonal patterns. And when you're diagonal on an A2, you can see it takes that whole 7.5 inches. So hopefully that makes sense. April's asking if the 1/2 inch playful strips still work with the 1/2 inch stitched strips. Yes, they do. So there is enough space on the side of each of these designs so that you could get a stitch down the side. So you could use the stitched easy strips as well. It's just going to add a little bit of extra busyness to your pattern. If you're using those stitched strips, they're going to add a stitching pierced line onto the design that you stamped. So good question. All right, then let's talk about the other product we're introducing today. And this is for all my foil lovers. So if you love foiling, raise your hand. Whitney's over here loving the foiling. We've been foiling this morning. So this is Playful Patterns for Easy Strips. The original stamp that I showed you is now available in a foilet. So this allows us to foil the designs, and you can get, let's see, I've got a whole pile of them. Where did you put my pile, Whit? Or did you bring it over here? Maybe bring me that whole pile that's over by my crafty area. And I can show you guys some of the ones that I've done. So when you foil this, the toner or the foil color that you choose is going to stick to the black printed toner. And then when you peel that away, let me pull out some of the ones that Whitney just brought over. You can see I have a foiled easy strip, and that works for both the 1/2 inch and then the 1/4 inch as well. So then the other fun thing you can do with these is after you have foiled with the whatever color you choose, you can take this product. We have been offering this since our summer school, but we're going to be using it today, so I'll explain a little bit more. But these Gina K white polyglaze sheets are perfect for transferring that negative piece that you peel off of your foilet. You can transfer it to the polyglaze sheet, which gives you the opposite of the foil pattern that you have. So this is the foil design, and then when you put it over the polyglaze, you're going to have the rainbows in the background are going to show up white, and then the foil is going to stick to the polyglaze. So you can actually get both versions of this with just this one sheet of paper and one piece of foil and a polyglaze sheet. So these are available on our website. You get 5 sheets in this pack, and I'm going to show you how to use those today to create designs like this one, where I made this kind of rainbowed paint can. I don't know, my mind went a little bit crazy on this one. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you had a rainbow swash of paint? And so I've got the paint coming out of the bucket over here and then up and down my card in rainbow order. And all of those are foiled first with the foil, and then again using that piece, the negative that you pull off of your foilet, onto the polyglaze. And that's how we get these really colorful strips of easy strips. So I did see somebody ask too about, I think up above, somebody asked about whether the stitched easy strips worked for the 1/4 inch. I will say that the 1/4 inch using the stitching with these does not work as well. It's going to overlap some of those designs because really the stamp design is meant to be your design on that 1/4 inch. So if you don't have the plain 1/4 inch easy strips and you're grabbing this stamp, you might want to grab the plain ones that don't have any stitching on them, because your stitching will run into the imagery. So I didn't cover that before, wanted to make sure I did. All right. I know we have some questions about sizing of certain things. So when we're going to get to creating here, and when we get to that, I'm going to talk more about the carrier sheet options that we have, and also the polyglaze sheets. These are sized 5.5 by 8.5, so they are sized plenty large for being able to do the easy strip foiling. So you'll see that here in just a second. All right, let's look at a couple more foiled card samples here. And this one Jill created. It's hard to capture the shine on camera, but it is so fun. Like, imagine opening this in your mailbox, and you might need your sunglasses, but I love it. And she combined it with glitter cardstock as well. And then Lori created one. So if you can see, Jill used the negative piece over the top of the polyglaze in order to get that color of the foil to be kind of the main part of the design. And then Lori took the same strips and used the first part of the foiling, where you peel it off and then you use that foiled piece to create the background. And I think somebody's asking, or Charlie's answering, if you can ink blend on these. So you can. You have these white strips then after you have foiled them, and this is just our great sugar cube paper that you can blend over. So if you wanted to get a colored strip with the foil on it, that's how you would do that. Great questions. I know some people have also asked, can I blend on the poly glaze? We have not had quite as good a success with the ink kind of drying on the poly glaze sheets, so I don't personally like to blend on these, but you can. You can. It might just take you a little longer to dry, and you're not going to get as seamless of a blend as you do with our sugar cube cardstock. So, should we get started?
Yes!
Okay, let's do it. I am going to move a few things out of the way here, and we are going to start by doing some foiling. So I'm going to bring in my mini Mink machine. Now, those of you who have the full-size machine, the full-size Mink machine, this really doesn't apply to you because your machine is large enough to fit the size of the easy strips through. So if you have a big machine, you can kind of skip all of this detail that I'm going into. If you do have the mini Mink, I have some options for you, because this paper here, the Easy Strips paper, it measures, let me get it right here, it measures 4 3/4 by 8. So it is longer than your typical 6x6 carrier sheet. So this is what our normal 6x6 carrier looks like, and the Easy Strips is longer than that. So we have a few options for you. I think the best option, actually, if I just present that to you first, I think the best option might be the hardest for some of you, but I think the best option is to wait. So you have to, unfortunately, we had a couple snags here at the office, and we weren't able to get a new size carrier sheet for you guys with this release, but it is coming. So we, in the next several weeks, it'll be in September, we'll be releasing this carrier sheet, which is 6 by 8.5 and fits that whole design in it just perfectly. And then it will fit through the smaller width of your mini Mink. Now, because we don't have this now, we have a couple of workarounds for you. One of those is you can fit up to the 6 inches of your design into the 6x6 folder, and then you would simply cut off this excess that hangs outside of the folder, but you would still be able to use the majority of the strips for your backgrounds and designs. There aren't a ton of designs that need the full strip, so you can get away with that until the other product comes out. The other option is to grab one of our 8.5 by 11 foil magic shims. If I open this up here, I'm going to show you. So if you really want to get started on this now and you don't want to wait for the product that we will be coming out with, you can take one of these and cut it at 6 by 8.5. So this measurement here is 8.5, and you would simply cut it here. You would also need to cut the carrier sheet, making sure that you keep that fold intact at the top. So you're going to cut 6 by 8.5 on both the carrier and the foil magic shim. So that obviously isn't ideal because you bought the full size piece and you're cutting it down to be the size that you need, but it is an option for being able to use this right away, or you can simply wait for that other carrier shim if that's what you want to do. Does that make sense? Okay, and the great thing, it looks like lots of you are excited about a longer carrier sheet because you can then foil 2 A2 size pieces in there at once. So that is a benefit to having the larger machine, is you can do up to 4 of them in our 8.5 by 11 carrier. And now in this one, you will be able to do 2 of them side by side. So apologies that we weren't able to get that out with this release, but I think there are some options to still be able to use these, especially if you have that big machine. None of that applies. So did I get any questions while I was heads down explaining that, Whitney, or is everybody
looks like
kind of
excited?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, my machine is heated up, and we're going to go ahead and foil. I'll be using the 1/4 inch strips, and we're going to foil that in the dragon fruit. And you'll cut your foil. So typically I'm cutting foil this way because most of the things I'm foiling are A2. In this case, we're going to turn our foil this way in order to get a longer piece that's going to cover all of our easy strips. And we'll go ahead and trim that. Okay, now I am going to use my longer carrier that I trimmed from that 8.5 by 11. So again, it's 6 by 8.5. The other thing I will tell you is if you're going to take one of these and trim it at home, I would recommend a guillotine cutter. So the blade cutters don't cut through our foil magic shim very well. So if you don't have a guillotine cutter, that would be another reason to just wait until we have this available. All right. I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. I think usually, I'm just going to turn this to a 3. It's already heated to a 4, but typically I start at a 3 and should be good there. When we move to the poly glaze, you're going to see me move up to a 5 because I find that you get a better adherence of the foil with the poly glaze on a 5. So I have my carrier, my Foil Magic Shim, the Foilet, the Dragon Fruit Fun Foil, and then we're going to slide that all the way through with the folded edge first, making sure you put it in straight. If you get it crooked at all, it is going to take your carrier sheet and completely kind of trap it in there, and you won't be happy with that. It takes a little while to get this to go through, so we'll let it do its thing, and then when it comes out, we're going to take that poly glaze. I'll go ahead and get a sheet of this ready. And there are 2 sides to this. There's sort of a dull side, and then you have a shinier side. So when you're using this, you want the shiny side up, and we're going to put our foil with the pretty side up onto this piece. So there is a right side to this poly glaze. All right, so let's go ahead and take this out, let it cool off just a little bit as I'm leaving it here. It does get pretty warm, and I find that the foil adheres a little bit better if I just wait for it to cool down for 10 seconds or so. Oh, Jamie, this is all new to you. She says she's not foiled before and doesn't have a machine to foil yet. You didn't say yet, but I added the yet because it is so fun. Okay, so this is cooled off now, and I'm just going to peel this pink foil back, and you can see I'm going to get that beautiful shine on everything that was previously black is now the foiled pink. We're not going to be using these on the card today, but if we were, we would take that coordinating die, which is right here. And as I around the outside, making sure that you tape that die right inside that printed outline, and then run it through your machine, and you're going to get those strips perfectly cut apart into 8 different designs. Now this piece that we pulled off of our foil, this is great. We're gonna get a twofer out of this. I love these twofers because you're using what might normally be considered waste, and you're going to make an additional set of easy strips with this. Now, when you are doing this technique, you will recall if you do this with a black toner, you don't want any exposed toner on your carrier sheet, and that is true of the white as well. It does transfer to your carrier sheet, so you always want to make sure that none of it is exposed. And I'm going to take my scissors and kind of cut up the side of this, making sure that my foil covers all of the polyglaze before we send it back through. And then I'm going to turn this up to a 5 while we're at it. And then we'll cut the bottom as well. All right, so all we can see is foil. We don't have any of that exposed polyglaze sheet. And now I'll grab my carrier. And we'll place that in. All right, as a refresher, we have our carrier sheet, our magic foil shim, and then I have the polyglaze sheet with the shinier side facing up. So there is a dull matte side, and then we have our foil with the pretty foily shiny side facing up, and then we'll put our carrier sheet over the top and send that through. Sounds like there are a few people having sound issues. I would just recommend trying to refresh or going out of the live and coming back in. Sounds like some people are not having any issues, so okay, Beth said going out and coming back in fixed it for her. Good time to go out and come back in while we're waiting for this to pass through. Okay, almost there. And as I said before, I like to move up to a 5 when I am foiling onto the polyglaze. I feel like it gives me a better adherence of the foil to the polyglaze than a 3 does. But when I'm just foiling on a normal printed foil panel, I will start at a 3. Okay. We'll again let this sit before we peel that off, and I'll show you what that looks like. Ready? It's so fun. It's the best part. All right, we're gonna peel this off, and everything from this foil piece is now gone. So this is, in my book, truly garbage. I mean, you could use this as maybe a window sheet for a shaker card if you really wanted to use up your trash, but I'm gonna throw that in the garbage. And we are left with these. So now we can take, I'm gonna turn this guy off and get the die cut machine out. And we'll grab that 1/4 inch die and line that up using, I'm going to grab my tape before I get it all in place. I do that every time. I line it all up and then lose my spot. Okay, so we're going to place this inside the printed line all the way around the outside. The die sits just inside that printed line. And we'll go ahead and tack this down. I try not to tape over foil if I can help it, at least usable parts of the foil. This is going to go through perfectly our little cutting pads are 6 by 9, so they are long enough to fit all of the Easy Strip die on it. Now when we pull this off, you can see we have 8 different strips that we can use in our backgrounds. Just got to poke them out here. And then I kind of push my, maybe. All right. Push my die pick underneath and kind of grab them all at the same time. Or not. I'll just show you a few at a time. They do take a little bit to get out of here, especially the more that you use your die. It takes a little bit more effort to get them out of the die. But it is worth it. Okay, once you have them loosened, you can grab a bunch of them at the same time and peel them back. All right, there they are. 8 of them foiled in reverse with that dragon fruit foil. Pretty, right?
I love them. They're so cute.
I love it. All right, let's get to creating then with our Easy Strips. We've done the hard part. I'm not going to make you guys watch while I do every color. I have leftovers from creating before. And when you have leftovers of these Easy Strips, one of the things I didn't mention earlier, but part of the sale category is our simple storage for Easy Strips. So this case has a compartmentalized areas that are great for storing your Easy Strips. You can see I've got lots of them stamped and cut in here. And as I mentioned earlier, when I'm not feeling super creative to make a whole card, I will just take one of these boxes and sit down and have fun making patterns. Or even just replenishing my Easy Strips is a task that I like to do sometimes that my future self thanks me for doing, because then it's fun to create when you have all those pieces already cut. So I am going to grab my sugar cube cardstock, and we're going to tack this down to the glass mat, and we're going to stencil on it. I'm using the Seeing Spots stencil, and sea salt is the ink color that I'll be using. And that's just going to give me a really light gray. I didn't want to do anything that was too kind of colorful in the background, because all of the strips, I want those to be my pretty colorful parts. So sea salt ink. The other thing those cases are great for that I just showed you, you can fit mini ink cubes in those as well. I know lots of people store their collection of mini ink cubes in our Easy Strips. I wonder if you have, do you have one of those like that, Whitney?
Yes.
Maybe I can show how we have them here. So if you're looking for maybe another option, you can grab one of the cases and...
I'm using some of those colors.
Okay, so...
I don't have all of them in there, but they usually are perfect.
And we have the little stickers in the bottom that show us where those colors go back into, and then we can keep our collection nice and neat. So these are the same compartments that are used for the Easy Strips, and they fit the mini ink cubes as well. So now's the time to grab yourself an extra storage for Easy Strips, because 20% off is a pretty good deal. Oh, Jamie, that's a good point too. She said the box, the Easy Strips box, is also great for traveling with your full-size blender brushes.
Ooh, yes.
Yes, she uses them in her RV crafting, and I think you can fit 2 blender brushes in one slot, and I believe there are 9 slots, so that would be 18 blender brushes. I gotta look under here because I feel like sea salt takes a little while to build up, and it's hard to see, so I do some peeking underneath my stencil to see how I'm doing before I pull it up. We're getting there. I just want a light dusting of polka dot in the background. I can see it. Can you guys see it? I'm going to do just a little bit more right up here and right over here. Okay. Looks good. Hold it up in the camera so you can see that light shade. This is more of, if you're looking for a tone on sugar cube, sea salt would be the color I would recommend for doing a really light blend on your sugar cube cardstock. Let's go ahead and wipe this down then. Okay, so I'm going to take some of those easy strips that I had previously finished, and I picked them out ahead of time so that you guys didn't have to watch me doing all of this and deciding on all of these colors. But I do need to find my card. Here it is. Okay, so based on my card, I have kind of the warm colors on the outside moving into the cool colors in the middle. So if we start with, let's start with pink. I'm trying to find all of the stitched ones. We're going to start with stitched for this one. Pink, orange, yellow, and green. And I'm going to take and flip those over, making sure they stay in the same order. And then we're going to tape them together. This is a must do if you are planning to make this card or any card where you're using, you know, strips in a pattern like this. You want to keep them together. And the teal tape does a great job of that. So I'm just going to take several pieces of teal tape. I don't want to waste it, so I'm not going to go from top to bottom, but we will go quite a bit just to keep them together nicely. Okay, so that's the pink, orange, yellow, green. Then we're going to repeat the yellow and the green, and then we're going to go to our cooler colors, which are blue or teal and purple. So there's those 4 colors, and I'm going to flip these over again, making sure that I keep them in the right order. Line them up at the top and tack them down with some teal tape. So it's August. What's on everybody's card making list? I know last time I asked, we had Deneen, was it you, with lots of birthdays that you were creating for coming up in August and September? Always birthdays. And Whitney, something fun is coming next week.
Tell me.
Am I right? Is it next week?
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to speak out of turn too much, but one of my favorite releases of the year is coming next week, which is Halloween. I haven't even been shopping yet for Halloween candy. I know everyone's surprised by that. I did hear that it is out in stores. So,
You've been eating a lot of hot tamales lately.
oh, we have. Yep. I did eat a whole box yesterday. And then I saw, I like to pay attention sometimes to the calories on things. So it's 110 calories, but there are 4 servings.
Wow.
4 servings.
Okay.
So that's 440 calories in a box of hot tamales, which made me not so happy after I ate them all.
So that counts as lunch.
Yes. Actually, it did count as lunch yesterday. I did not think ahead and bring anything. So thankfully, sweet Susan, she brought me a box of hot tamales and I ate that. All right. So there's my last one that goes this way. Let's make sure I have them all in the right order. So I went pink, orange, yellow, green, and then I repeated yellow, green, blue, purple, and then I repeated again blue, purple, and pink and orange. So I thought about it and the way that the rainbow works, but I needed more than just 6 strips. So that's how I kind of decided on my color arrangement there. I do need to do some die cutting. So we are going to, if you can see on my original card, I cut the little kind of paint, I don't know, what do you call that? The paint actually on the brush. And I cut that from the same strip that we're going to follow up the card. So it looks like the paintbrush is making that rainbow foiled stroke. So we need to die cut that. I also need to die cut my paint can. I have already die cut and put together 2 of the paint brushes. So this paintbrush set has a large and a small paintbrush. This is actually the larger of the 2 sizes of the paintbrush. And it's called Paint the Town. So that's where the brushes and the little piece that we're going to cut for the paint colors comes from. And then we have a separate die set that's called, very appropriately, it's called Paint Can. And it has the paint can in it and the little handle that we're going to cut out of silver foil cardstock. There's also the drippy paint down the side. There's a puddle of paint. And you can even do like a label for the front, or you can do, this one is like a pouring the paint kind of coming out of the can. So fun samples on the website for that as well. So you can check those out if you like the whole paint theme. I'll grab the die cut machine again. And we have silver foil cardstock that I'm going to cut the paint can from. And just a little tip, sometimes when I'm cutting the silver foil cardstock, a lot of times I like to figure out how much I'm going to use, and I actually cut it off of the sheet because then this piece stays nice and it doesn't get marred by my cutting pads. You can also put like a piece of just thin printer paper over the top to keep the rest of your sheet from having any marring on it. So there's the paint can and the handle. We'll glue those together in a minute. And then the other thing that I need to cut, we have our little, I guess, paint blob for the end of our paintbrush that fits just like this. And we're going to cut that from these strips. So this one is actually going to come up from, whoop, that was my die. I found it. That's going to come up from the bottom like this. Actually, like this? No. Sorry, I got to get the paintbrush in here so that I can picture. It's coming up the card like this, and we want this to fit like this. Okay, so that one, it is a tight fit, so just make sure you get it all the way on those strips. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here.
I just got a tidbit of information. They have Sam's Club size bags of hot tamales. We may need to convert and then buy tiny containers to like parcel out our daily.
To portion out the calories. Yeah, because I can't be eating a whole bag of or Sam's Club size bag of.
Oh, we have no
That would be
willpower.
bad.
Once you start, it's really hard to stop because they're so good.
All right, then let's do our other strip. So if we bring the paintbrush back in here, it's going to help me visualize. This is how the paint is coming out. So we want our die to sit like this. Okay. Tape that down. Trim this end off. And send that through. Ooh, Melissa said she got a glass board on over the weekend.
Sure did.
You helped her load it in her car?
Popped it right in the back of her trunk.
Oh, look at that service.
I was so excited. I'm like, you're gonna love this. I'm so excited for you.
I'm glad you're loving it, Melissa. And I'm glad you came and joined us. We had our sidewalk sale over the weekend at TE on Saturday. So we had lots of you joining us in the rain for a fun Saturday event at TE. And lots of good deals. All right, so here's the pink stitches that are going to go on the left side, and then this one is going to go like this. This is why putting that teal tape on the back really helps, because it's going to keep all those strips together while you cut them and adhere them. And then while I have my glue press out, let's get our paint can. So we're actually going to put the strips in here to make it look like it's coming out of the can. Look at that. Happy accident that it fits just perfectly. 4 strips fit perfectly in there. And then we'll go ahead and adhere this over the top. Try not to get very much glue on there, because if you do get glue that squirts out onto your foil, it ends up kind of dulling it and making it look icky. So do your best to use as little glue as you can. Okay, all of our pieces are coming together. We'll do our embossing at the end, so let's go ahead and get this adhered. I'm going to turn this over and use as little as possible of that pretty foil, because then I might be able to use these strips on something else later. So we'll just tack that down. And then this one is going to go on this side of my card. Oops. You guys, I put it in wrong. Good thing it's not permanent. Let's get that teal tape off. So I need my blue to be on this side. So we'll just slip that in. This one has a lot of little rules to follow. How to die cut your paintbrush, and so that's going to fit there, and I want my little paintbrush to hang only slightly off. So we're going to trim right about here. I'm just going to make a little mark in the foil with my tweezer. Can you grab my paper trimmer?
Yes.
Thank you. And then we're going to cut that off right there. Now the middle one, that's just going to go straight down the middle. And then this one is going to come up this side. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead and trim that off. So we've got extra. We could make another one of these pieces with the excess that's left over. Go ahead and adhere this down, and then I'm popping up the paintbrush. Okay. I'll go ahead and grab a little bit of foam tape and get that on the back. Actually, that might just almost fit. So put that on the back and take our little bit, if I can get a tiny little bit on the handle, that would be good. Make sure it all gets tacked down. Okay. All right, we did it right. Our paint matches up with our paintbrush. Now this middle part, we're going to, there's a little bit on the edge here that doesn't have polka dot on it. So I'm just gonna trim those little pieces off. And then we can adhere this down the back or down the center of the card. Before I do that, let's arrange this one, because sometimes I like to center the middle one after I've done the edges to make sure that everything is perfect. So we'll go ahead and put another piece of foam tape here. And a little bit on the handle. Okay, and then that's going to hang off just slightly, and we're going to pull this up. So our other end, we're going to do a little fingernail mark on this one. Anybody else do marks with their fingernails? Sometimes I just indent with my nail so I know where to cut the piece at. Tell me I'm not alone. Okay, then glue this down. Making sure the pink stays on the left side. And put our paintbrush on. So we went to the Iowa State Fair last week. Anybody been to the Iowa State Fair? Anybody outside of Iowa been to the Iowa State Fair? That would be interesting, but it was very hot, and
Woo!
I know.
And like humid.
Yes. Our girls didn't last very long. They were asking to leave. So we ended up taking the time to the extra time we had set aside, and we went out and had dinner as a family. Henry was with grandma, so we got to enjoy a meal out without him. But the Iowa State Fair is always fun. I enjoy it. Did you get your free egg when you went? Or you guys really didn't do the fair, you just did the concert?
What's the egg?
You get a free egg, hard-boiled egg in the agriculture building. What? Where they have the butter cow. Did you see the butter cow?
No.
Okay, well, Butter Cow theme this year is Toy Story. So there's a Butter Cow, and then there's Woody from Toy Story, like circling around the Butter Cow. He's made out of butter too. Woody is.
What?
Yeah, so that was fun, and we got to eat our free hard-boiled eggs, so I liked that too.
That is so funny. I did not hear that.
Oh, and Sue says she traveled from Virginia to visit cousins in Iowa and went to the fair. So that's fun. There's always something to see and do. We went to the Kraft part of it too. Mostly, I mean, the kids weren't very interested in that part, but it was air conditioned. So we did that. And we watched the competition of the shooting on horseback. They had to shoot the balloons while they ride on horseback, which that was very interesting. I felt like we just stuck out. Like, we're from the city. That's how I felt like the whole time, because we're asking questions that were probably silly. Like, what does that score mean? How are they keeping score? What do they have to do? They shoot all the red ones first and then, yeah, so. Okay, I'm now in tornado mode over here. So, oh, here it is. I did find it. I'm going to emboss the 2 sentiments. This is black licorice cardstock, and I'm going to do You Brighten My Day and You Are a Work of Art. So we'll set those up on this piece of black licorice cardstock. Give you some more tips on heat embossing. We have our powder tool that you're going to pounce across there. Kind of takes away any static or maybe some oily residue from your fingers that have touched the cardstock. And it's just going to allow the powder to stick better. All right, VersaMark then. And I'll grab my white embossing powder. Go ahead and heat and emboss these, and then we've got our card pretty well done. This sentiment set, we have a couple of them. I think we have one called Work of Heart that has kind of art-themed sentiments in it. And then this one is called You Color Me Happy. So those are a couple great options if you're making kind of colorful or rainbow themed cards for any occasion. There's a birthday one in there too that says hope your day is a masterpiece. I like that. Okay, let's grab the mini mitts so we don't burn our fingers, and I'll take my heat tool. Oh, Susan's talking about deep fried Twinkies. I've never had one. Have you?
No.
I actually haven't eaten a lot of the deep fried foods at the fair.
Me too. I don't know what that is, but every time I go there, I mean, I eat cheese curds.
Yes.
But I just love cheese. So
my favorite is the cup of cookies. And so we got instead of a cup of cookies, we got a bucket.
Of course.
We shared. So that was always yummy. But I think maybe I don't eat all the fried things because I'm hot. And I don't like to eat hot things when I'm hot.
Yeah, I would agree.
And we always seem to go when it's hot. So, okay, let's grab the dies that we need here. I'm going to take a guess. Is this the right one? No. Let's try this one. Yes. Okay. How about this one? Yes. And tape these down. And now I have two cards to send. There were a few. Every year they have like best new fair food that they give an award for, and there was one that I wish I had found and tried because we love Scotcheroos.
Yes.
And it was the Scotcheroo shake, and I didn't try it, but I wish I had.
I did see that was one of the options, and I thought, ooh, I love peanut butter chocolate.
And Scotcheroos are such an Iowa thing that, or Midwest, I should say, such a Midwest thing that I wanted to try the shake. They also had, the other one I can remember is one of our local barbecue places did what they called Three Little Pigs, and it was 3 different preparations of pork, sort of like a pork flight. Normally you get maybe a margarita flight and you try all the different kinds of margaritas, but this was 3 different preparations of pork, and I didn't get a chance to try that one either. Really, I just was there for the cup of cookies. All right, there you go, guys. I'll hold up the one that's adhered. You don't need to watch me put together, put adhesive on the back of these, but I did pop up the sentiments with foam tape on my original. So hopefully that gives you kind of a new idea for using the easy strips, and especially those fun foiled versions. So yeah, hope you learned something new today. I hope you enjoy our new products and our Easy Strips collection as a whole. If you haven't tried it yet, it's a great spot to start. Start your collection and build some fun, colorful backgrounds. I realized just now that I never talked about the curated color collections that we have for you. So let me pull them up here. Whitney has them nicely laid out with the inks on them, and I'm just going to grab the cardstock packs. So we have 2 sampler packs that we just put out, and they do have ink bundles that go along with them. It's another great spot to start if you are just getting into our color collection. We have our trendy rainbow sampler pack and our pastel rainbow sampler pack. We also have one more sampler pack that's been available for a while that includes more of the bold rainbow. So all 3 of them have the option of adding ink pads if you would choose to do that. But the great thing about these is it's 3 sheets each of the, I think it's 7 colors. Yes, 3 sheets each of the 7 colors. So you get to try a little bit of everything. This is the trendy rainbow. Look how pretty that is. I love that. I love a good kind of boho trendy looking rainbow, in addition to, well, I love every rainbow, so who am I kidding? So pastel rainbow, trendy rainbow, and then our regular bold sampler pack rainbow as well. You can find those under shop paper, and they're going to be right at the top of that category. If you're looking to get started with easy strips, grab a curated paper pack, and you know what colors are going to go really well together. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. You will see Susan here on Thursday, and she'll have another Easy Strips project. She's going to be using that trendy rainbow pack. So it'll be a fun card, and you'll definitely want to be here for that. So then I will be here tomorrow, exciting, on a Wednesday. We're going to do our Combo Club reveal. So those of you that are in Combo Club will be sharing with you what is coming to your doorstep this month and the fun things that you can add if you would like. And then, of course, I'll be here Saturday with Whitney. We will be doing our sneak peek of what's to come next week. So tune in on the fan page if you want the earliest look at next week's release. And then I'll see you guys next Tuesday too. So we got a lot of stuff coming. All right, everybody, have a good one. We'll